Welcome to the Pink Dress Effect podcast with Shannon.
And Kim.
Today we're going to talk about our favorite summertime memory. And I don't know if I even can remember one.
Okay.
We moved so much. It feels
Mm.
like every summer we were moving,
Yeah,
being in
and
the
that's-
military.
Yeah, and I was similar. I wasn't military,
Yeah.
but my dad worked for the Federal Bureau of Prisons.
Right.
And so we moved all the time. So my favorite memory was, I'm from North Carolina. So the majority of my family's here, but I would spend my summers in North Carolina.
Oh, really? Like for the
Yeah.
whole summer?
Yeah, with my grandmother.
Oh, that's so,
And back in the day when you could be a kid,
that's so
you
sweet.
could be a kid. We spent all day outside, running around all day. Nobody knew where the heck you
Barefoot,
were.
right?
Barefoot.
Yep.
All up and down the railroad tracks. And
Oh,
I'll tell you-
look, and I just was working for the railroad. That is a big no.
No.
Stay off the
Don't do
railroad
this.
tracks. Yeah. I mean, people say about getting pictures and all that, but, well, that was bad.
No, yeah, we'd stand there and,
Would you wait for the
you
train?
did the choo-choo. You didn't.
Wait a minute, on the track?
No, you stand at the side and the train goes
Oh,
by.
that's
and
good.
then the conductor would be in there and you're like, choo-choo.
Oh,
cute.
That's so cute. And just so you know, that's an engineer.
Oh, is it? It's
Yes,
not a
I
conductor.
learned that from
Look
working at the
at
railroad.
you. Look at
I
you.
know the engineer guides the train or whatever, and the conductor is the one that goes ticket. Those are the
really?
conductors. Yeah.
Well, that was the engineer.
Yeah,
And-
yeah,
and he would
yeah.
wave at
And he would
us.
do the and
Yeah.
honk the horn.
Mhm.
That's sweet. That's sweet.
Yeah.
See, those are great memories.
Those are great memories.
I
I
mean,
have great memories of summer.
I guess that's when we did travel because we
Mhm.
lived overseas and stuff and big family. We couldn't afford to do all that, right?
Yeah.
But those are the moments we would see my grandparents and my family up in Connecticut and New England. And so, yeah, I mean, now that you've got me kind of going there, but one
Mhm.
memory that does stand out, it's crazy. It's a summer memory. We were
Mhm.
traveling. I think we might have been moving and we were at a rest area. And I can't remember if we were in Florida or Georgia. I don't know, but we were somewhere in a rest area
Yeah.
and people are running everywhere. And you're like, what the heck happened? It was like crazy. I was a little girl. I remember Ronald Reagan had gotten shot.
Oh.
He had just gotten shot. And I remember we were at a rest area and it was summer vacation. I do remember that though. He had just the assassination attempt.
That's not exactly a good summertime.
No, but you just saying that, it just reminded me of
of something that happened
in the summertime.
Mhm.
And I remember, obviously we weren't there, but
Yeah.
people were panicking and, just like something happens to our country,
Mhm.
right?
It made it memorable.
It made it memorable for
Yeah.
me. But I think probably, I don't know, big family. We didn't have a lot of
No.
money. Like, my mom, I remember one summer we went to Disney World and we stayed with our really good friends. And then my mom had it packed down for a day. We got there before it opened and we stayed till that sucker closed, Disney World. It was a long day,
Yeah.
but she tried to make it, give us those memories on a
Mhm.
budget. And I remember, I think we even made our own sandwiches or something. Back then,
Yeah.
I don't even know if you can bring in your own food
You
anymore.
probably can't.
But I remember
Yeah.
standing in line, but I remember that was a fun time going to Disney World because we had never
Yeah.
been.
We never went because either I was young,
Mhm.
like really young when my parents got married, and they didn't have a lot of money, and so
Mhm.
we didn't. My dad moved. Going back to my grandmother's was the vacation, and then they would leave me there, and I would be ecstatic.
And
to
your
be left
grandma
there.
probably treated you like a princess.
Oh, my grandmother, yes, I love my grandmother.
Oh, that's so
Yeah,
sweet.
so she did, and she's amazing. She would cook me breakfast, and know,
Aw,
yeah, she's very, very attentive.
that's so great. Yeah, no, it's hard when you have a big family though,
Yeah.
because
But
7
you can
people.
create memories.
Yeah,
You
we
can-
did. We'd go to the beach, right? Beach
Yeah.
trips and stuff. And I know as a kid, like when my parents moved to Delaware for my dad's Air Force, the
Mhm.
beach wasn't that far. So then once all my friends and I started driving, we would go to the beach for the day, like almost every single day.
Yeah, we did too.
We spent a lot of time at
Yeah.
the beach because it was 30 minutes down the road. You just go and
And that's when you want the sandwiches that are, nice and warm and
yeah.
melting. And, right?
Yeah.
Those are the good memories. I hope that people still really enjoy kind of those slow moments
Yeah.
where you go and maybe sometimes you could grill at the beach.
Yep.
So it
Yep.
depends on how the beach was, but
And
yeah,
it's-
those are huge memories.
Do you have
Staying
any
there all day.
memories of when your kids were little even? Because I think about when I first moved to North Carolina almost 20 years ago. I can't believe that my son, we joined a pool and I was actually at an event that I was volunteering for on this past Sunday, and they had, those little the little 10-cent icy things.
Yeah.
They're so good.
Yeah.
And it was so hot on Sunday, and I was just eating them. But we would go at the pool. That was a memory. It made me think of my son at the pool, and all the kids would go, and the moms would be like, "Go get me a pina colada one. Go get me an orange one."
Right? Because we remember those from our childhood.
Yeah, and that's probably. But for my own son when he was little,
no, I bought them for my girls too.
They were so good. They were so good.
Because you want to pass those memories on, And for my girls, I did very much want them to play outside, and for my children, they did get that experience.
Yeah.
A lot of people talk about. That children, I think, it's a different generation. My children are, 27 and 25. But when they were little, they did get the experience of being outdoors and playing and not being stuck in the house playing,
But we would play and it'd be like, going outside. And they didn't
care. They didn't know.
They didn't know. We could have been burning down trees.
Well...
Oh, did you?
This is a disclaimer. I didn't burn down any trees.
Wow.
However, I was supposed to be looking at this camera. I did not burn down any trees. However, I don't know if I should
What'd you do? We can take it out.
Okay, back in the day. Now, you can never get away with this now, and I don't recommend it at all. And I don't smoke. But you could go to the store. My mom would send me to the store, to the little corner store, to buy her cigarettes.
And they would sell them to you.
And they would sell them to you. Take them home to your mom.
Oh, so what'd you do with those cigarettes, Kim?
So because I have a certain amount of privilege doing that, then there's a little neighbor group of us. We're hanging out, and we're like, we're gonna smoke some cigarettes. So we went to that corner store and got some cigarettes. That's how we ended up getting caught. I don't know. We had to be, maybe 10.
Buying cigarettes, but they did it all the time.
No, they knew it. They knew our family.
Oh,
they didn't think a thing.
And it was for your...
It was at the end of the path from my grandmother's house.
So they knew it was for your grandmother, whatever.
For my mother.
Or for your mother. Telling your mother's secrets here.
And that's how we did get caught. But we were down the railroad track smoking.
And you got caught?
And my aunt's like, it'll stunt your growth if you do that.
Nuh-uh, but the adults are over here doing it.
Well, but I look at my little mouth, I was like, well, is that what happened to you?
Oh, did you?
My aunt's short. She's like very short.
And you're tall.
And I'm tall. We might have been younger than 10, to be honest.
Buying cigarettes.
Yeah,
Jeez.
I was a little rebellious, which is hard to believe because I'm such a rule follower.
Yeah.
But when I was younger, I was like the ringleader.
The ringleader.
Yeah.
Gosh. You made me think of another summer summer fun. And I think a lot of ours is all related to family, kind of because of the way the military. But we went up to Connecticut, left Delaware, went to Connecticut, and then from there drove to Maine. And my aunt had a cabin, and we stayed there for a couple days. And I remember going up there.
That sounds really nice.
It was beautiful.
Yeah.
But it was cold. That did not feel like vacation. And I remember we were in the lake, Oh, it was so cold. I was like, get me out of here. But I mean, it was fun, but it was just cold,
Yeah.
But yeah, so they probably do. They probably are a lot around family. And, unfortunately, like my grandparents, they've been gone a long time.
Yeah.
And thank God you have those memories,
Yes. They are there because when talking about my grandmother, and I was older by this point in time, but it was still in the summer when I would come down. And my very first job, I was working. This is crazy. Our lives, we did stuff.
Look, Kim, all this stuff.
People don't do it. I was working at Hardee's. Was my very first job.
Oh, yay.
And I worked in the summer, and I worked from 10 o'clock at night to 6 in the morning.
You worked overnight?
I worked overnight.
As a kid?
I was 16.
Oh, my.
Yes, I did.
Your family wasn't worried about you?
No. No. And I made a lot of money that summer. But when I would come home, my grandmother would cook me something to eat. So I would be there in the morning. She would cook, she had this little grill pan thing, and she would fry up like chicken or fish in the pan. I mean, that's just a core memory for me of that summer. And I spent it with, my cousin and I both worked there.
Oh, no.
And we had some very interesting memories.
What'd you do? You're not going to tell us.
Well, we were working fast food,
Well, I'm working overnight though. That's
And
kind
we're
of
working
crazy to me. Like, what were
overnights.
you doing overnight? Were they open 24
They were
hours?
open 24 hours. So
Oh,
on the
I'm thinking you're
weekend,
stocking stuff.
no, we're at Hardee's, the fast food place.
Right. So people are coming in there all
They're getting
drunk
food,
and
yes.
getting their munchies.
Hitting on you. You're 16 and they're hitting on you at the drive-through. Yeah, it was.
That's what I'm wondering because it's just you're so young. And in your, oh my gosh.
I'm telling you, so do you know they talk about what Gen Xers? We've been through some things.
Oh, you just reminded me of something that okay, so we lived in Spain.
Uh-huh.
It is so crazy that my mother, I need to bring this up to her. I'm like, were you even my mother? Like, this is terrible. So anyway, so we don't speak Spanish.
Mm-hmm.
So my older brother, Sean, and I, and one of his friends, there's an amusement park. All you have to do is get on the train.
Uh-huh.
And you take the train all the way to the last stop and you get off and there's an amusement park. You go to the amusement park, get on the train, you got to come back. So it's not too hard.
Yes.
My mother let us go. I was in 8th grade on a train in a foreign country that was our home that we didn't speak the language with 2 other, like 3 kids. Go ahead.
Y'all were on an adventure. We had lots of adventures where
I would have never. Could you imagine let your 8th grader go on a train by themselves?
Mm-hmm.
I mean, there's probably 8th graders in our country that go on trains by themselves because it's their way of life, like in New York and stuff.
Mm-hmm.
But no, we got on that train and we rode that train with people we couldn't speak to. We didn't have Google Translate. We didn't have anything.
You just figured it out.
We figured it out.
You figured it out.
Oh my gosh.
And you survived because
we did,
here.
But I can't. And we had a great day. I remember, but I can't remember I can't believe my mother. And I know we told her.
They didn't worry about us like that. They just didn't.
Or are we just, they didn't care. They didn't care about
They're
us.
like, they'll be fine.
Come back when the streetlights come on.
Yeah.
I mean,
really.
really.
We would literally be out all day long. We would come home to eat at some point, but then we would go right back out. Nobody knew where we were and nobody.
Or what we were doing.
Or what we were doing. And they weren't concerned.
I mean, you're running up and down railroad tracks.
Smoking.
That is so funny.
Which I do not smoke now. Like, I did not smoke as an adult at all. So maybe that was that.
Maybe that was your
because
curiosity.
Curiosity, because I have like no tolerance for smoke. You know, my eyes start messing up and everything.
That is so crazy.
That's definitely a key core memory of mine. Yeah. And my earliest memory is I still have this picture of myself as a little girl. And I remember going to take pictures and running across, and I had a little short sailor outfit. It was like a little blue shirt and short outfit, and just running across the field to my grandmother's house.
Oh,
and so that's a nice memory.
That's so sweet. That's so sweet. You keep reminding me, triggering me. When my dad was stationed at Tyndall Air Force Base, which is in Florida, Panama City, we'd go to the beach a lot. We did go to the beach a lot, and I had a bathing suit, black, I remember, and it was monogrammed Shannon.
Oh.
And I wore that bathing suit
I know
out.
you did.
No, but we were at the beach. I bet my mom, but she was a stay-at-home mom at the time. And it's free. And so we would go to the beach for hours and hours and hours and hours. It was fun. It was fun.
Yeah, I think the beach is one of the core memories for a lot of people.
And we just happen to live at the beach. So, right. So you're going to go to the beach more. But, you know, as I became a mom myself, you know, I try to, well, every summer, my son and I, we try to do something.
Yeah.
Like, that's just something that I've always, especially after I got divorced, I wanted to make sure him and I had a trip every summer.
Yeah.
To do something.
And see, we really did. I think my girls didn't like this. We would do something, but we didn't have a lot of money.
Yeah.
So, you know, we would do something, but it wasn't always a vacation. Sometimes it might be a church trip. That's a great way to go on a vacation at a discounted cost, is if you belong to a church and they organize the trips.
Yeah.
I assume they still do that. But back in the day, they would organize trip, the whole family get on the Greyhound bus, and we went to Universal, we went to Hershey.
Oh, but those are fun.
Those were, and because it was a lot of family, so those were definitely key.
And if you're super active in your
memories.
church, those are probably all your core friends anyway, right?
Yeah. So that's a great way to travel, you know, on a discount.
You know, it's funny. You keep triggering me. When we were members of a church. Where were we? Did we live in England? England, yeah. And then we went to France.
Mm-hmm.
No, excuse me. It was when we lived in Spain. You'd have to there's a separate, you'd have to fly over there or take a boat. No, we went to France, and it was a church trip to Lourdes, France. And I remember
Yours
going.
is a fancy church
Yeah, well.
trip.
But you got to remember, I lived in Spain.
Yeah, no, I know.
So, but it was military, all military families. I'm sure it was cheaper because it was the group. I'm sure,
the life experiences you got. That's
oh
amazing.
yeah, I mean, I think with my father being in the military and living in England, I mean, we'd go to cathedrals and castles, and I mean, so maybe I don't have a lot of those summer vacations that were set every summer because we lived in the same place. But yeah, you're right. I mean, I got to see things, Oxford, and I mean, the things that I got to see, we had our family pictures taken at a castle.
Yeah.
Like, I mean, it's like, I remember those things, and yeah, I guess most people wouldn't have experiences like that.
Wouldn't have those summer memories.
No.
I don't have them.
No, or even living in Spain. I lived in Madrid. I mean, I was a kid. I lived in Madrid. And one summer thing wasn't really a vacation. So we lived, the military housing was downtown Madrid. So we had to ride a school bus. I think it was probably 45 minutes every morning to go to Torrejon, which is where the Air Force Base was. And that's where once I was in middle school or 8th grade, it's terrible, was in high school. 8th grade was part of the high school. That was not a good thing. When I look back, the stuff that I was exposed to in 8th grade is terrible. And you wanted to be just like him. But 8th grade, not a good look. But we, my girlfriends and I, it must have been summer, I'm sure, or weekend or something. Our housing development, the military, was connected to this housing development called La Moraleja. And I'm saying it probably all wrong. But anyway, they were mansions. I mean, John Wayne had a house out there, David Hasselhoff. One of the kids, actually, that was in my brother's class was a prince from, I believe, Saudi Arabia. They lived out there. That's where they had their class party. I mean, like, this is crazy. Anyway, we packed up backpacks of lunch, snacks, and everything, and we went walking around the mansions. That's what we did.
That would be fun.
It was so fun. We did. We walked around, I mean, for hours and hours, and it was all hilly-like. So we just walked out of our neighborhood into their neighborhood, and I think John Wayne's house was like a stagecoach. Like, it was cool. And you see all these beautiful homes. And yeah, I mean, like, it was next.
You dream.
It was part of my I mean, well, it was right next to my neighborhood. I mean, we had our 4th of July celebration.
Yeah.
That is one thing with the military. They do a really good job on those things, especially when you live overseas. And we lived in Spain. And they had all the different squadrons from the military would have booths, essentially, right? Now it's almost like these trucks, food trucks. So they'd almost have like booth trucks or whatever, like not booth trucks, like a food truck. But they would all have
old school food truck.
It would, and they would have stuff for the kids. But like David Hasselhoff came to our 4th of July like celebration, right? Because we were American. Yeah, it's kind of cool though, right?
Yeah.
But we did fun things like that, like explored the neighborhood, like, because it was not like our neighborhood, So.
I know. I cannot wait. That's one of my dream places is to go to not to Spain, but to France.
Oh yeah.
So I would
it was
love to see a
beautiful.
castle.
It was beautiful. Oh, England, there's so many. Oh my gosh, there's so many. And
what about your favorite foods in the summer? We already talked about the icy pops.
Yeah, when I lived in England, this was like one of my very favorite, and it was called a 99. So if you've lived in England or you're English, you know what those are. And what it is, the ice cream man would come around, and most of them called Mr. I can't remember. But anyway, they come around, and they would have, it was soft serve ice cream, and they would put it in the cone, and then they have these candy bars. They're called flakes, and they're chocolate bars. They're real flaky, and they break them in half and stick one in the ice cream.
That sounds good.
It was really good.
That sounds good. Was it chocolate ice cream?
Chocolate ice cream.
See, and so weird. See, mine is a favorite chocolate
Yeah.
ice cream.
Well,
too.
no, white. No, it would be vanilla ice cream.
It'd be vanilla
but
with the
chocolate. It was so good. And then you take the chocolate and you'd kind of
scoop it out.
Oh, it was so good. So good.
I wonder if they still do that even
they
now.
do. They do. I met a family when I was in when I was on my most recent girls trip. And they were from England, and they were sitting next to us, and I just talked to people, and we were talking about the 99s. So their kids thought it was funny that I knew what they were.
Well, when I go there, I'm gonna get that.
Yeah, you're gonna have to get that. It's so good. What about you? Any other foods?
Yeah, just that corner store. I think about I was having a core memory thinking about the ice cream that I would get. So they would have these old freezers, and they had the Mayola ice cream. back then, they still have them, like you can get them at the grocery store, the little baby cups.
Oh,
Those little
yeah,
plastic
yeah.
cups with the lid you peel back.
With the wooden spoon.
Yeah, oh,
Sorry,
yes.
the wooden spoon now as I'm all older, though. I don't like the way it tastes on my
No.
tongue.
Oh, now?
Now that I'm older.
But back then,
Oh, they were good.
And they had a bigger tub. And it was chocolate. It was the best ice cream. And you would be hot from the summer playing. And then you go in there and you get your Coca-Cola and the glass bottle. And you get your ice cream. And those are just wonderful. And then the penny candy on the counter.
Oh, the penny candy.
And, the cookies, those little brown cookies. I was in somewhere recently, and they had that brown cookie with the pink icing on it. I don't know what you call it. But
yeah, did you have to get one?
I'll have to get one and show it to you. But it's not the same. I was like, is this what they did to that cookie? It is not the same cookie.
They probably put plastic in or something.
It didn't even look like it. It was really thin. I was like, this is not the same cookie.
Oh.
But yeah, and you could do all that. Like, take $1 and go to town.
They would. Yeah, we had a little store in England that was the corner store, and they had there was I don't know, a haircut place, and then the penny candy and fish and chips. And I remember going in there, and you'd have £1 or £2, and you'd fill up a whole little bag of candy. Yeah, that was fun.
Yeah, and nobody was paying attention to how much candy you were eating.
I don't even know if did they
running around.
Did they make sure we ate even? I don't know.
No, it was up to you. You go in the house, you have food.
Make a peanut butter and jelly sandwich,
or a bologna sandwich,
or we would get
moving.
I don't know if you ever did this.
What?
You'd get cheese on bread, and then you put it in the oven, put the broiler on it.
Oh, not for lunch, but that was breakfast.
We would do bread for breakfast sometimes.
Yeah. No,
it's like the cheap way to eat.
But look, that's good though.
I said the cheap way to eat. My mother used to, and I know we're talking about food. My mother, she, bless Mom, I know you listen. Thank you. And I know you did this for us, but I would never do this. Sorry. She would get that powdered milk. Carnation.
Mm-hmm.
And she would have regular milk and mix that stuff up in there with some water.
Make it stretch.
That is the nastiest milk. Right?
I don't think I have ever had powdered milk that I knew of.
Well,
anyway, I wasn't a big milk drinker.
Well, they would do that. Oh, she froze milk too, which, when you have a big family, you go through it, which is smart. You pour a little off the top, then you put the lid back on very loosely. You stick them in. They freeze. Well, whenever we would run out of milk, right, you just take it, you put it in the sink, and it starts thawing out. I tell you, making a bowl of cereal, and it's almost thawed out, and you're pouring it, and the little ice goes right on the that is the best milk.
That's good stuff.
It is cold milk, but it's not boxed carnation milk.
No, we definitely have good memories of the food.
The food, yeah. And a lot of cookouts, barbecues,
cookouts,
whatever, hamburgers, hot dogs, that kind of stuff.
And I did that a lot with my girls. It's just a part of life, cookouts and stuff.
Oh, I love that.
That is the summertime.
No, that is the summertime. And I think, now it changes, I think, too, when the kids get older, like as a parent, right? When your kids are older or whatever. But
it does. But, I think, I don't know. I think because we did have such, connected times as a family, that they still do love a cookout and all the holidays and stuff. They're looking to see, to spend it with family.
Yeah, absolutely.
Not with other people.
Yeah.
So.
But the beach, to me, man, the beach. Nothing like the beach.
Yeah. And we did, as our girls got older, we went on family vacations at the beach at Myrtle Beach.
Okay,
Now those are, we'll never forget those times. I miss those times really, because our children were young, and it was a lot of our extended family.
Yeah,
so we're all just like in, like at a hotel, and the kids are going up and down. Well, now we let them go. God knows what they got up to.
We're gonna have those girls
in Myrtle
on
Beach. We'll have to ask them what they got up to.
Because y'all were all drinking and having a good old time.
But those are memories you won't ever forget.
And they'll be repeating them for themselves.
They will. It'll be interesting to see if they end up doing that with their cousins, and then we'll be the old people.
Well, and I think that's fun. Always maybe even get in a house with friends and stuff and family. We've done that over the years. Our family's not been real good about consistently. Okay, like some families are like, this is the week we're going on vacation. Every single summer.
Yeah. It gets hard as the children get older.
Yeah. Maybe I need to start that now as my son's starting to grow older. So it's like, okay, this is the week, family week. And then we know that every week, July, whatever,
Yeah.
I'm getting a beach house so that way when he gets married and all that
Yes.
stuff, that's just the week that,
Yep.
because if you don't
Exactly.
establish it or someone in the family,
you'll
you'll lose it.
traditions.
You'll lose it. And I think sometimes when those older folks in your family, like when my grandparents left or died, I mean, the end of the day is I don't go to Connecticut that much. So I didn't get to see my aunts and my cousins like I once did.
Yeah.
And it's sad because you
It
lose
is.
those connections and they're so very, very important.
We're gonna have to cut this. Sorry.
How much time? Look, I'm sorry. Look.
We'll edit it all out.
Okay.
We're
Yeah.
almost
Well, it is summertime now, and I'm going to the beach this week, and I'm excited. I'm out of work, but I was going to go for my birthday for a long weekend, but I decided that's probably not smart. So I think one night is good.
Yes, it is.
Good compromise. And you go early, and you end up getting 2 days out of it. See, I'm being like my mom.
You
Look.
you are, and you need a break.
I do.
You need a break.
I do. And I think that, and when I get my new job, I'll make sure I let them know I have vacation scheduled
Yeah.
and take that time.
And I haven't planned anything, but
We're gonna do a tea.
Yeah,
We're gonna do the
we
tea.
do want to go to a tea.
I mean, I know that's not like a vacation, but
It's not a
but it's
vacation,
still
but
something fun for
it
the
is.
summer to look forward to.
And I did in our town. There's a new little ice cream shop.
Oh,
I
that's what
went
you were
to.
telling me
Yeah,
about.
and it was. Now I felt it was. They had like Andy Griffith on the TV, and there was a police officer who came in, and Sky and I were eating ice cream, and it felt very nostalgic. Just kind
Aw.
of sitting there eating your ice cream, and that was that's a sweet little memory. Didn't cost a whole lot of money.
No, you can do
but-
like those staycation type things, right? You can still make
Yeah.
memories, like with your daughter or what have you, or with yourself, and you don't have to spend a lot of money.
You don't.
You don't have to spend a lot
You
of
don't.
money.
Just think about, and like we've talked other episodes about how crafty like you are. Children love those things. If you are that mom, you can think of a million things to do with your children in the summertime.
Oh gosh, yeah. Pool.
Yeah.
Pool.
You could go to the pool. Yep.
There's
and-
lots of
yeah.
fun things you can do, but without breaking the bank too. But
And my children always went to camp
yeah,
in the
yeah,
summer.
Yeah.
And so that took a lot of the summer because they would go to the pool, they would go to the movies, they go to the skating rink, and so those are activities too that if your children go to camps.
Absolutely. Well, summer's here.
It is.
We'll have to, when we come back from our little
Yes.
hiatus, we'll have to talk about some of the fun things we did this summer.
Yes, I have
wonder
to be
what they'll
intentional.
be. Yeah.
Come up with some good ideas.
Absolutely. Well, I hope you all have a great summer out there. And thanks for supporting the Pink Dress Effect podcast. Happy summertime, cookouts, barbecue, whatever you call it, right? Pool time, beach time, whatever you want to do, just enjoy it. And we'll see you next time.